versus Evil Russell. Do a barrel roll. Get ready for it. Now draw. Let's go home. I used to be an adventurer like you. Now take an arrow on your knees.
Alright, what's up everyone? I'm going to do something a little different today and talk about a show. Now, I just finished watching the show Kenobi. I saw a lot of people were doing episode by episode, recaps and reviews of it, but I wanted to do one basically after I saw the whole series unfold, just because I didn't want to be too rash or anything. But like this, I don't know, it seems like the Star Wars fan base is divided about this. Like, you have some people who are like praising it, loving it, acting like it's so amazing. Then you have some people who hate the series and like, oh my gosh, this is disgraceful. This is is abomination to canon or whatever. I would say I'm more in the middle. There are some things I did like about it. I liked, the flashback of Anakin and Obi-Wan in episode 5. I liked that. The second fight, kind of not. The second fight was kind of silly because they looked like earthbenders. They're like literally just throwing rocks at each other for 2/3 of the fight. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? And then I like that, Obi-Wan partially cut off Darth Vader's helmet. And you get to see, Anakin's face and, hear, his voice a little bit as he talks to him. But there's a lot of this stuff that's wrong with this show. Like, a lot of things that just, like, not only canon-wise don't really make sense sometimes, but just the writing is just, like, I don't know what I don't even know where the hell to begin. Like, I would say, one of the biggest things about this show was it was advertised that it was going to be in, like, the Grand Inquisitor was going to have such a big role. And it's such a lot. They basically lied in the trailer because the Grand Inquisitor literally has nothing to do with the story almost. He's in it for maybe the first and second episode and then episode 5, but then and a little bit of episode 6, but he really has no impact on the story at all. And it's just like, well, what was the point of bringing the Grand Inquisitor then? Just so you could have the Inquisitors, just so you could throw Reva in there. And I don't know, I just thought that didn't make sense. Like, so you have Reva quote unquote kill him, and he comes back because people were saying, oh, well, he has 2 stomachs, he'll come back. He has 2 stomachs, he'll come back. Okay, he comes back, and then he doesn't do shit in episode 6 because he's just telling Darth Vader, hey, well, we shouldn't be shooting we should go after the rebels because we could, eradicate them. And Darth Vader's like, no, we must. Kenobi's all that matters. Kenobi's all that matters. And literally, that was the entire impact of the Grand Inquisitor. So the Grand Inquisitor doesn't have anything to do, it just doesn't make sense. And then you have Reva. Okay. Now Reva's been getting a lot of mixed reactions online. There are some people who are, fangirling or fanboying her, saying, oh yes, she's such a great character and stuff. And you have some people who are hater, and then so you have some people going to the extreme and doing all kinds of bullshit. I don't agree. That's one thing I will say. I never agree with harassing the actual actor or actress because they're just doing what they're told. They're just going based off of what they're being told by the director. Now there are some actors and actresses who are shitty and horrible just on their own merit, regardless of what director or writer is there. But I would say probably 80% of the time it's mainly the fault of the writer and the director. But like Reva, I just didn't like her character for multiple reasons. Number one, I didn't like her character because it didn't really seem like she had a motivation at first. Now they gave us they lore dumped her motivation like later on, and I think like episode 4 it was 4 or 5. like basically saying, oh, she was young, which is so easily predictable. But like I don't know, like for the first couple episodes, it's really hard to see like her motivation, and she's just going around being mean. Let's see. Well, I mean, obviously mean, but she's the quote unquote villain, but just doing evil shit for like no reason. Like she's so infatuated with Kenobi and she wants to impress Darth Vader and all this shit. But it's just like, at first it didn't really seem like she had a motivation, and it seemed like how they wrote her like really wasn't like, I don't know. I don't know. It was just something off about her. Like it just wasn't. I don't know. I just really couldn't get behind her, even as a villain. And I like a good villain. Good villains are where you don't agree with what they do, but you can understand their perspective. Like Darth Vader. You don't, do we agree with him killing younglings and, killing, millions, well, not millions, probably thousands of people in the galaxy? No, but when you watch the prequels, you can understand why, because the Jedi literally sat on their ass and didn't do shit, and then basically had Anakin and Obi-Wan fight the whole Clone Wars, and then, I don't know, and like basically whenever anything Anakin brings up, they're just like, oh, well, you must not embrace that. You must show patience, and like not really helping him. So I kind of understand why he becomes Darth Vader. But Reva, like, you don't really understand her motivation. You can't really get behind her, and it's so weird because the show is titled Kenobi, but it should be titled like Reva and Kenobi, because I swear to God, she gets so much screen time. It's ridiculous. So I'm kind of like glossing over the main things. I'm not going to go episode by episode just because I remember mostly what happened. But like, I don't know, just like obvious. I mean, the choreography, I liked it in the flashback that they had with Anakin and Obi-Wan, but like the choreography really hasn't gotten that much better from the sequels. I mean, it's a little bit better than the sequels. Sequels was fucking awful, but it's still kind of weird. It still looks like they're using the lightsaber as a bat instead of like an actual sword, But okay, so that's basically that. And then it's weird because this series seems to focus more on Leia. So like Obi-Wan completely ditches his responsibilities of watching over Luke. Doesn't leave like a camera in place or something in place. He just says, "Oh fuck it, I gotta go save Leia." And it's just weird because like Bail Organa, it's like, why didn't you just get like your royal guard or something to go after her? Like, why did you need to compromise the mission that you and Obi-Wan and Yoda agreed to, and just be like, oh, I need Obi-Wan, fuck the guard that I have, I'm just gonna call Obi-Wan. So I mean that part didn't really make sense to me either. And then another, oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot this, another key thing was that Reva was the one to tell Obi-Wan that, oh, Anakin's alive, he's alive, Obi-Wan, like he didn't fucking know. And if you would have seen episode 3, there's a couple ways that he knows. Number one, he knows when he was in the Jedi libraries watching Anakin slay younglings, and then afterwards Emperor Palpatine's like, oh, you are right, Lord Vader. He literally hears him say Lord Vader in the hologram. So that's one way he knows that he's, that Darth Vader is Anakin. It's just like, well, gee, there's some, mechanized guy who's using a lightsaber and has a fixation on hunting him down. So you think it might have been Anakin? And then later on, the writer found out, the writer said that he didn't know that. It's not even like an expanded universe thing or like some secret book that the guy didn't read. No, it's in the main film. It's in episode 3. He knows that he's Darth Vader. Even Yoda says, like, oh, the Skywalker you trained, gone he is. Darth Vader he is now, or something similar to that. But he knows, like Obi-Wan knows. He has to fucking know. But it's just like kind of dumb when they're just like, oh no, he didn't know. And then the writers going around, attacking people saying, oh well, he didn't know because of the, just like trying to give all these bullshit reasons why he wouldn't have known. It's like he did fucking know. Especially, and that's the problem with this series, is that if you watch the prequels, then you watch this, and then you watch the original trilogy, it doesn't bridge the gap very well, and it just doesn't really make sense. So that's another issue I had. Another issue I had is that the pacing. The pacing. I mean, I understand it's a TV. It's a quote unquote TV show. The pacing of it, like, you literally had some episodes that were filler. Like, I think it was episode 4. Episode 4, you could have literally scrapped most of that, and it would have been fine. But some of the pacing, like, at first he's weakened. He's like weakened. He's a broken heart. He doesn't want anything to do with the Jedi anymore. Almost like how Luke was in The Last Jedi. And then, like, all of a sudden he just regains, he regains his force powers, even though, like, literally, like, a couple episodes back, he was barely able to push a little fucking wooden Jenga piece or whatever the fuck he was pushing. And then, like, 2 episodes later, he's in a full-on lightsaber fight with Darth Vader, and he's able to hold his own. And even Darth Vader's like, "Oh, you've regained your strength." It's like, I don't know. It's just like the pacing of it is kind of odd as well. And then oh, I didn't even get to Leia yet. So Leia, I think that she should have had a much minor role in this, especially now because especially in episode 4, it doesn't make sense when you watch it, because Leia acts like she doesn't even know who Obi-Wan is. But yeah, they had this whole adventure and shit when she was 10, but all of a sudden she doesn't remember when she's an adult. And some people are like, "Oh, well, Obi-Wan told her to keep it a secret and stuff." Well, yeah, but even if that's the case, I can understand that when she's transcribing the message in episode 4. But when they finally are together in episode 4 and they're flying around and shit, why doesn't she, people would think, "Oh, why doesn't Leia embrace Obi-Wan? Why doesn't Leia bring up anything?" And that's the kind of issue is when you do shows like this, is it fucks with already existing material. But, like, she's like a 10-year-old that, is smarter than most of the adults in the room and is capable of doing all this shit. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess I can understand wanting to expand her character a little bit, but it's just like, to the extent of just like, "Oh, well, she knows everything," and not she knows everything, but, like, I don't know. It's just, I didn't really like the approach they had with Leia. And then Luke had little to nothing to do with the series. They even show that Obi-Wan didn't actually meet Luke until episode 6 of this series. Like, that's the most craziest thing, because, like, once again in the trailer they advertised Obi-Wan was watching Luke and stuff, but Luke has, like, literally nothing to do with the entire plot of this series. And then, okay, oh my god, I can't believe I forgot to mention this. Another issue I have: what the fuck is it with Disney and not dying when you get impaled by a freaking lightsaber? What the fuck is up with that shit? Like, this is the second time they've done this shit. They did it with fucking Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, whatever the fuck he is, whatever the fuck his name was. They did that shit with him, and that Rey was able to magically heal him, which is never explained, which is complete fucking horse shit. Okay, so they did it once. They did it again here, where Reva not only gets impaled once and survives, she gets impaled twice. Why? Who the fuck knows? How? Who the fuck knows? And that's the problem, is like, they don't even attempt to explain how she survived getting impaled as a kid, how she survived getting impaled as an adult by Darth Vader, and that's another issue. Why the fuck wouldn't Darth Vader make sure that she was dead? Like, why wouldn't he just, like, cut her head off or have the stormtrooper shoot her? No, he just stabs her once and just walks away. It's like, no, that's not, I don't know. It's just like, they dumbed down Darth Vader a lot in this in this series. But that's just like an issue I have. It's just like, how the fuck, what is it with Disney and not dying when you get impaled by a lightsaber? And it sucks because it's like the characters you don't care about survive getting impaled by it. The characters that we actually like Qui-Gon, instantly dead. So that's an issue with, like, a discrepancy and with continuity, because if someone's watching this who doesn't know anything about Star Wars and they're watching it all the way through, they're gonna say, "Hey, how come that Qui-Gon guy died in the episode 1, but fucking Reva and Rey is able to heal Kylo in all these later movies?" because it doesn't make sense. You know, that's just the issue I have. And then, okay, so not only does Reva try to kill Darth Vader, she gets stabbed by him. I did like that fight because he didn't even pull out his lightsaber. He just did not give a fuck at all. He's like, this character is a scrub. I don't give a shit. But anyway, so yeah, so he stabs her with the lightsaber. She somehow has the wherewithal and the strength to listen to a half message about Darth Vader's, that Darth Vader has a child and that he's on Tatooine or some shit. She has the wherewithal to grab that, get up, fly all the way to Tatooine, go to the city of Tatooine, go all the fucking way to the moisture farm, because keep in mind the moisture farm isn't near the city, it's in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, and she has the wherewithal to do all of this while grunting and being like, like she acting like she's dying and shit, which just doesn't explain how the fuck did she. Okay, never mind. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the climax of the final episode. She goes to the moisture farm to kill Luke, right? She fights Owen and Beru. They actually have fist fighting in Star Wars, which is kind of weird. There were a couple times where there were kicks or punches in the prequels, but this is like almost a full-on fist fight, between like a quote-unquote wounded Reva and Owen and Beru and shit. So Luke runs. He runs to like the canyons. She follows him to the canyons. He's climbing up the hills. He's climbing up the mountains. He falls off. And he's unconscious. She has her lightsaber ready to kill him right there, and then she has flashes that, I see myself in him, and and that's another thing I don't understand, is if Reva was really trying to only kill Darth Vader to avenge her Jedi youngling friends that were killed, why the fuck was she killing Jedi under Vader? Why wouldn't she help the Jedi escape or sabotage his plans? And some people say, oh well, then she wouldn't have gotten close. And that's fucking bullshit. Because then how is she any better than him? But anyway, so she has all these flashes and shit that, I could kill him, but I won't. I could, I won't. And then, okay, so that's that. And then there's a fight between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. Allegedly, the rematch of the century, as Kathleen Kennedy called it. And was it cool? Kinda. I mean, the lightsaber part was cool, but then it was weird because then they were both like throwing rocks at each other. Like how when you're in elementary school and you have a kid that you don't like, and he's like giving you shit, and you guys just throw rocks at each other, and you guys are throwing rocks at each other behind the teacher's back, so the teacher doesn't see you. That's literally what this fight was like. It was like they were throwing rocks at each other, and somehow they became earthbenders. Like they're just like I understand the Force is powerful and you can do a lot with the Force, but just like they literally looked like it was Avatar, the last Airbender, except they did it much better in this than they did it in that live action movie. But I did like the part where he partially cut off Darth Vader's helmet, and you see, half of, Anakin's face, and you hear like a distorted Anakin, voice or whatever. I did like that part, and this is another issue I have. So Darth Vader, he's wheezing and shit, like how he was in The Last Jedi, or The Return of the Jedi. Obi-Wan pretty much has him beat, and they have like exchanged a little bit of dialogue, and Obi-Wan's like, oh, well, then my friend is truly dead, or whatever. And he walks away, and then you walk back to Darth Vader saying, Obi-Wan, Why the fuck didn't, and then it's stupid the way they did it, because they could have done it a different way, where maybe Obi-Wan was getting a message from Owen and Beru saying, hey, Luke's in trouble or whatever, then he just abandons Darth Vader. That would make more sense than just up and leaving him. This is what I don't understand, is Obi-Wan does the same thing again. He does the same mistake that he does in episode 3, where instead of finishing off Darth Vader, who's a threat to the entire galaxy, that if left alive thousands of more people will die, he just leaves them and just says, oh fuck it. It's just like why did it doesn't make sense why Obi-Wan would just up and leave there. Like they could have done it in a more clever way, like where maybe they get separated by a rock slide, or maybe like I said, like Owen calls him or messages him on his messaging, whatever the fuck those communicator or whatever, he he gets in touch with the communicator that he has with him. Like, that would make more sense than just Obi-Wan just up and leaving a half-beaten Darth Vader, only for Darth Vader to survive again, and only for thousands of more people to die at his hands. And even Bail Organa says that at the end, like, oh, well, I worry about her. The Emperor is getting stronger. It's just like, well, Obi-Wan could have stopped it, but he chose not to and just walked back for no reason at all. Like, they couldn't even exchange dialogue where Darth Vader's like, well, aren't you gonna finish me or something? And Obi-Wan could say, oh, well, that's not the Jedi way, or try to get a little dig at him or something, being like, oh, well, if you were a Jedi, you knew that we show restraint or whatever, some shit like that. I don't know, just do something like that rather than just Obi-Wan just walking away. But anyway, so Obi-Wan flies back to Tatooine. He realizes, oh shit, I have to take care of Luke too, and he goes light speed to Tatooine. Then he gets to Tatooine, and Beru and Owen are looking for him, and Obi-Wan's like, oh, where is he? And then all of a sudden, Reva walks up carrying Luke, and she changed her mind, folks. Because that's what villains do, is they just change their mind for no fucking reason at all. And some people are like, oh, well, that's her character arc. That's so amazing. No, it's not. That's stupid. Like, why the fuck would she go all the way to Tatooine, go all the way to the fucking boonies in Tatooine, try to kill Luke, only just to walk him back all the way there? And then like, Obi-Wan literally says the most cliche line. I literally called it before he said it, where he says, oh, well, your future is up to you. And then Reva buries her lightsaber. I don't know what is it with Disney and people burying lightsabers. They have a sand lightsaber fetish. I don't fucking know. But anyway, so she does that, and she's good now, just because of reasons. Even though she probably killed a good number of Jedi in order to get on Vader's good side. And then, like, that's another thing she said. She's like, am I like him? And he's like, no, you're not. You chose not to. Which is like bullshit. How is she any better than him? She killed a ton of Jedi too. But I don't know. Like, that's the whole issue I have with this, is it doesn't make sense. But I will say I did like the part at the end where Qui-Gon comes, where he's like, oh, it's about time. He did the Sandy Cheeks line from SpongeBob. He did like, oh, well, it's about time he showed up, but I did like that. But and it's so tough because there are some things I like about it, but there's just so much wrong with it, man. It's just like, I enjoyed seeing Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen's back. I grew up on the prequels, and I just think it's funny how that, because of how shitty the sequels were, that there's a more appreciation for the prequels. But I never really had a problem with the prequels. But I don't know. I mean, there's some good things about it, but there's a lot of shit that's dumb and doesn't make sense. And I don't know. I mean, that's just the tip of it. That's the only thing I could think of at the top of my head. But would I say, I mean, I guess I could say you could give it a watch, just like, just once through. I would say there are some, good scenes in there, but there's just a lot of crap too, man. Like, I would say, I don't know. Is it the worst thing ever? No. I would say that there's some people say that, oh, Kenobi's the worst thing. I wouldn't say it's the worst thing. I'd say that the Disney sequels are much worse, but the writing and shit is bad here too. And I don't know. I would say give it a shot. And I mean, and that's another thing I'll say real quick before I end this, is that I don't understand where this whole black and white mindset comes from, of, oh, you can't criticize that, otherwise you're not a real fan. Like, I saw a lot of comments and shit about that, like, oh, any Star Wars is good Star Wars. You should be happy we're getting anything. And it's just like, so because certain people aren't happy with it, they're not real fans. It's just like, who the fuck are you to gatekeep and say who's a fan and who's not? Keep in mind, there are, illegal ways of seeing this, but most people are paying money to see this show. Most people spend a lot of time and money on Star Wars, and in my opinion, they have their right to complain and say whatever the hell they want about it, because they're spending their time and money doing it. And I just don't understand, like I said, I don't understand this black and white mindset that's not only in the Star Wars community. Like, I've seen this in sports too. Like, Even the team I follow, the fan base is like, oh, if you don't love everything about this team, you're not a real fan. It's just like, where did this whole black and white simplistic mindset come from? But anyway, it's just like, and it's just like an example I give, to my friends. It's just like you go to a restaurant, they hand you a plate of shit, but the shit has corn in it, and you see, someone, just troughing it. They're just, they're scarfing the shit down, and you're not eating it, and you're like, hey, I would not like to eat a piece of shit. And then the person next to you is like, why are you complaining? At least the shit has corn in it. At least it has nourishment. So it's like, that's just like, literally what it sounds like when people are like, oh, well, any Star Wars is good Star Wars, and you shouldn't complain and be so negative. It's like, shut the fuck up, man. It's just like, I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent, but I hate hearing that shit. It's just so simplistic and fucking childish in my opinion. But anyway, I would say give it a shot. I would say don't expect anything amazing or groundbreaking, but I would say, yeah, there's gonna be some bullshit in it, but once you get past the bullshit, there are some things to enjoy. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. First kind of thing I've done this, so I mean, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I would like to do more stuff like this in the future, but anyway, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you.